So today we are going to have a table discussion about hemp, the correct use of it, and misconceptions around it, especially in Africa. With me at this table, we have Alton from My Daily Choice Team Win. We have Henrietta from Lifeline South Africa, an organization that focuses on emotional welfare of the people. And then we have Dr. Job, who's going to give us the medical aspects about this topic. Welcome, guys. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm doing great, thank you. Alton, let's just dive right into hemp. My Daily Choice is a company that offers hemp products. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you guys recently launched everywhere, I think, in Africa almost, right?
A few countries,
Okay.
not a lot. Currently, we are in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and we are launching Kenya in a matter of days.
Awesome, awesome. I was at the South African launch, and it's interesting because the use of cannabis has been legalized in South Africa recently, which means there's a lot of people at home growing their own stuff, but they don't necessarily know how to properly use this substance or this plant or the medicinal value of this plant. Now, the company offers products that are a safe option to use the medicinal value of this plant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so let's talk a bit about the misconception that people have, especially in Africa.
You know, I think one of the things that for most people growing up, especially with a Jamaican background, I must admit 2017, the very first time that I was introduced to the hemp CBD arena, I myself was like, that's illegal. I want nothing to do with it. Not realizing that there's actually a family of the plants, and there's a difference between what I call in Jamaica marijuana or weed, which is very well known for the Rastafarian in their culture, versus the hemp, industrial hemp that is used for making cars, and even the first American flag was made from hemp. So as I started to educate myself more, I even realized there's a difference even between the leaves that are being used to represent in this industry. So, you know, it's just a lack of knowledge, and as you go out and start doing, as what people would say, your research, there is so much information on the internet that will be able to equip you once you have an open mind.
Let's talk about the differences and the correct meaning of these things. The difference between hemp, cannabis, THC.
The cannabis plant has two species, right?
Okay.
You have the marijuana part and you have the hemp part. If you want to go deeper, you then talk about the sativa and the indica. That's their biological names. And now, the marijuana part is the one that people smoke, and that part has a high THC content, and the hemp part has a high CBD content. The presence of a CBD content masks the effects of THC even if it's contained in the hemp part. So you won't have the high that you would get with smoking the marijuana part. That's the difference.
So we have the marijuana plant, we have the hemp plant. They are not the same plant. They are of the same family. They sometimes look similar, but they are not the same. And they contain different amounts of THC. Now, the CBD oil is not equal to THC. Is that correct?
The CBD oil has, as the name says, it has cannabidiol, which is the high content of CBD compared to a THC. With the legal limits, we use the Food and Drug Administration, that is the American association.
So you won't get high from CBD
No,
oil?
because of the presence of high CBD as well.
So it's not like using weed? Because that is the question everybody wants to know. If I use CBD oil, does that mean I'm going to get high? Does that mean I am now using weed? Because obviously that's the first thing they want to know.
That's the truth, but remember there is legal limit for the THC to be within your oil itself. It should not be over 0.03 according to FDA regulations. So if you contain a product which has higher THC, it becomes an illegal compound product itself. Therefore, it's no longer classified as a nutritional supplement. By the way, your CBD is, just to put it on the perspective, it's not a medicine. We regard it as a nutritional supplement.
Okay.
Because if it was a medicine, it would be a scheduled type of compound.
It still has medical benefits, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely does, but for legal purposes, it's
Yes.
regarded as
So it's totally legal to use CBD
yes,
oil.
Yes.
It is totally beneficial. Let's talk a bit about the benefits.
The benefits is a huge topic. We start from your nervous system. Basically, your CBD has receptors that we have, all of us, what we call endocannabinoid system, which is the receptors for the cannabinoids in our bodies, from our brains up to every system that you might think of. So when you use the product, depending on the type of your compound of your CBD product, from your brain, there's receptors for it, to any system of your body, there are receptors. And we have within ourselves as well what we call endogenous CBD products that we generate ourselves. The popular ones is 2-AG and anandamide. You find in, for example, when you breastfeed a child, your anandamides are the ones that calm the baby down. And if you run what we call the runner's high, it's a CBD that you get within your body that increases as well. But because we don't produce enough CBD, the reason why we need external, which we call them exogenous CBDs. Therefore, then you start using your oils in terms of for different medicinal benefits. From your mental disorders, from your neurodegenerative disorders, from your endocrine disorders like your metabolic diseases, your diabetes, your hypertension, your obesity. Yes, the benefits becomes it's just unbelievable.
Now, there are many benefits in CBD and these products. I see it even in pharmacies nowadays for cuticle cream, for face cream, for everything. There is hemp-infused products or CBD oil products. And let's talk a little bit about the products that My Daily Choice provides.
Well, one of the things that make My Daily Choice so unique is the extraction process that we use. It's called a fresh lock dry process. So meaning from seed to shelf, you're getting the purest form of CBD from the product it actually produced. See, that's why many people, they're looking to capitalize on the industry right now, right? Everybody, as you mentioned, you're seeing things for nails, you're seeing stuff for hair and skin. However, how their extraction is typically done, most companies, or those who are doing it at home, are extracting by using alcohol or some form of a metal which is not safe. I always tell everyone it's not about what you consume, it's about what your body absorbs. With our products, we have 100% of potent product that you can see. Just from looking at our product, we are the only ones in our industry of direct sales and network marketing that bears the US Import Authority seal, which means that we have the purest of CBD oil that you're finding in the market space. And that's very important because already people have this stigma of getting that high. So when you're getting the actual purest form, you want to be sure that what you're putting in is ultimately what's going to give you the best of performance. With our company, we offer different strengths. Here in South Africa, we only offer the 500 milligram, the 750 milligram. We also have a 1,500. However, South Africa has not approved for the 1,500 milligram to be here for the fact that it's so much higher in the CBD content. We also offer for pets because we all have those little ones that we love, right? So we have the 250 milligram, which is bacon flavored. I can't tell you it tastes like bacon. I can't tell you, but it is bacon flavored.
You should taste the product before you send them out, before I give my pooch. I'm just kidding.
That's, and the company is so strong on the products that we offer. We even allow you to be able to use the product up to 60 days and you're not happy and be able to return the empty bottle and know that you can be refunded. There's no other company that I know of in the world that is currently offering such a money-back guarantee in 60 days.
Well, that's wonderful. That's really awesome. And I know that you guys you offer the oils. They have different flavors. You offer other things as well, right? There's like shampoos and hair products.
There are 3 flavors. There's the natural, there's the cinnamon, and the peppermint. Just recently, the company rolled out our complete shampoo line, which comes with the shampoo, the conditioner. We have a hair mask, a hair serum, and also the body lotion. And let me tell you, even my hair, you know, I guess it runs in the family, but I was thinning out for a while. Before the shampoo line was introduced, I was using the CBD oil by itself. After my shower, my pores are open, and I was just using it, simply massaging in after my shower. My hair has already started growing back, and now with the shampoo line, including the serum, which is considered the goal within that line, I'm telling you, I'm seeing not only myself, but I see other individuals who are using it, ladies, that they're, you know, over years they're doing the hairstyle and they were losing their hairline. Now they have hair that's literally growing back. So the products are extremely, I know, right? The products are amazing.
And I just add, they also have the topicals. You are new. Honestly speaking, my face looks way better than it has ever looked in my entire existence.
Wow, so yeah, there's the skincare range.
Yes,
as well.
skincare range. We are also relief ointment for pain. I had recently an injury. I still have a scar to show for it. Believe you me, I never drink a pill. I just applied the CBD oil and then the relief ointment. No pain till to this day.
That's wonderful.
And just to add to what Doc is saying about the relief, what it does, it actually penetrates 7 layers into your skin to find where the discomfort is, to allow it to relieve that discomfort. So I think people with arthritis, they actually love this. I can't make any claims, but I can only tell you, those who have arthritis, when they use it, within minutes, they're realizing, you know, that discomfort, they're very much relieved.
So what kind of people are keen candidates to use hemp-infused products?
Different conditions. Depends how you educate people with regard to their conditions. For example, if you take, for example, I'll just give example of my mother. She's diabetic and every week would be called, she's collapsed, we have to rush her to hospital. And since I introduced her to CBD, she sleeps better, sugar levels are controlled, blood pressure is well controlled, she doesn't have pains anymore. So for me, it has been a relief in that I don't have to get called at night to rush home and when she's collapsed. And so different conditions. I recently had a patient with panic disorders. The family could not sleep, and they've been to different practitioners and hospital. She could not get help because every 5 minutes she gets a panic disorder. And someone referred her to me, and then I had to counsel the patient first, understand what the cause of the panic attacks, and introduce her to CBD oil. To this day, she has never had a panic disorder at all. So it differs on the approach. You need to be able to say to people. But on top of that, it's not about only being sick. It's also health prevention as well. Because I use personally, I'm not sickly, but I use it personally because if you can exercise and be fit, but you have conditions that you cannot control. You have athletes who get heart attacks, you get athletes who get strokes, who play sport professionally. You get someone who plays sports professionally gets a heart attack. For example, we use a CBD oil. It's not only helping you not to remove plaque from your blood vessels, it also helps you with your needs. It's cardioprotective. So when you get a cardiac attack, for example, for now, you won't have damage to your heart muscles because you're using a CBD oil. As you grow old, we get dementias, which are neurodegenerative, we cannot stop. It doesn't matter what you do. So, but if you use CBD oil, it has been found to increase in animal studies because there's never been human studies, just to say, for example. Most of the studies that we talk about, when you refer to a CBD, we're talking about animal studies. They're found to increase mitochondrial activity in your brain, which grows new cells in your brain. It repairs damaged cells. So you are less likely to suffer from degenerative disorders.
Let's just differentiate clearly the difference between the substances like weed and whatever that makes you high and then hemp they are not the same, right? They're not the same plant, even, right? You can extract THC from marijuana, right? You can extract it from hemp, but they are like little amounts, significantly lower, right?
Right.
But it can't make you high. Using hemp cannot make you high. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
Now, I want to add, for the fact that I'm going to tell you from a young one that's not having the whole medical term, like doc, and then doc could tell you. So when someone asks me what's the difference between the two, I simply always explain with marijuana, those trees usually you'll find them, they grow very high. They grow them far apart. When it comes to hemp, they are in, as you would say, confined conditions. They're grown close together. They're grown very small. So when extracting, the THC content is very minimal, if any, that you will find with that CBD, with the extraction. With our bottles, we offer 30 mils in the bottles, right? Should you drink an entire bottle, there's still not enough THC in that bottle to make you high. We offer two different types of these CBD products. We have a full spectrum, which give you what we call a full entourage from the plant. It could be from the CBD, CBC, CBN. I mean, you would think I'll say CNN, right? And even a THC, which gives you that 0.003% that's legally allowed. Then we offer a full spectrum that still gives you the full entourage except the THC. So again, there will be those individuals who they're saying to themselves, well, you know what? I still am not comfortable with this whole THC and CBD.
Because it's the THC that makes you high, right?
Right. So they still would prefer to go with a broad spectrum that does not contain THC. It's how a lot of people are suffering in silence. They're looking for something that doesn't have the side effects like the ibuprofen, which I found myself in that situation for the mere fact I was taking ibuprofen for so many years from high school because of an injury, through college, through my professional career. And then I realized that with the side effects, I needed something different. And now, since using CBD, before I would not be able to sit here without turning my leg and stretch all the way out. You know, even traveling on a flight, I would have to either travel business class or travel in the emergency room because I could not sit in between the seats. I couldn't go to the movies. I couldn't sit down and watch a movie. I couldn't go to the arena because my knees literally, I deal with what's called patella tendonitis. So I have kneecaps that float. So since now using the CBD oil, I can do squats. I can go out and do extra activities and not having to worry about having to take pills and having to ice. That's just about a lifestyle change. You know, so when someone is looking at something that's natural for them, CBD definitely is the way to go.
In light of the fact that the use of marijuana at home has been legalized in South Africa, for instance, we see many kids going hoorah, okay? Because, you know, it's a thing, it's a peer pressure thing, it's, you know, so they're smoking. Henrietta, we need to speak to these kids about the fact that it is still a substance to smoke weed, right? It still has huge negative effects on a growing person, right, doctor? On their brain, on their growth, on everything of them, like any substance. And you know what? If you want it for the medicinal value, there are other options like hemp products. Okay, Henrietta, please do share with our viewers the impact that substances have on our youth, on an emotional level, a social level, and everything that has to do with that from Lifeline.
Thank you very much. I think firstly it's important to know that substance abuse is a huge monster that South Africa is currently facing and that a lot of organizations are trying to come through to deal with, especially when it comes to our youth. And these are the people that we are looking into as the future for tomorrow.
Exactly.
So it's really, really important to focus on them when it comes to this issue. So with substance abuse, it's very rife, especially in schools. we're realizing that us as social workers in our profession, we're getting a lot of calls from organizations to come to schools and intervene because of issues of substance abuse. So there is a lot of effects that substance abuse has on our school-going kids and our youths altogether. Firstly, maybe if we can look at their school performance, since I'm referring to schools mostly, we realize that a lot of learners who are indulging in substance abuse, they have a lot of symptoms that they are showing when it comes to their cognitive ability. So you realize that they have altered brain, they've got altered brain functionality. Instead of them concentrating in class and being able to do their homeworks and assignments, a lot of times they become disruptive in class. And we've got a lot of teachers who are complaining about kids who are being disruptive, either with disturbing other students who want to learn, or with even talking back to teachers. So they also have those, behavioral attributes that they show. They show aggression, they are being disrespectful, they are purely disruptive in all aspects. So we have a lot of cases of bullying that are coming out, especially because of the substance abuse issues. But over and above that, their school performance drops drastically. If it was a student who was performing very highly before he started or she started indulging in substance abuse, then you realize that their performance drops drastically because they become slow in attributing whatever the teacher is saying to them. Their cognitive function is so disturbed. So they fail themselves when it comes to their school performance, and it affects their future as well. Meaning that if it was someone with a bright future who could have been a president tomorrow, they might just end up being a hobo on the street. So this is very concerning. But we also have the interpersonal aspect of it. They fail to have proper relations with either their learners, the other learners that they learn with, or even at home. We have a lot of cases of parents who are coming through to complain at schools to say they're literally scared of their own kids because of substance abuse. The way they become aggressive at home when they need money to satisfy, this addiction that they now have. They're even stealing from their own homes or from their own families because they just have to satisfy this urge of addiction because of substance abuse that they're indulging in. So it's bringing a lot of societal dysfunction in the communities where they're living in, where even their own parents are scared of them. So it's really a lot of concern that we must not ignore, and we must really put our heads together in seeing how we can eliminate the issue of substance abuse. But you realize that over and above, maybe if we can look at the social aspects, they become very withdrawn. If ever it was a learner who was interested in sports, probably, they become so withdrawn once they start indulging in substance abuse. They lose interest of things that they usually enjoyed doing before they were into those drugs, and they become so withdrawn, which is also an integral part of a child when he's growing up. It's very important for them. Remember, a child, when you look at it as a child, we are looking at a holistic aspect of growth. You're not only interested in their education, but also in how they socialize with their peers as well. So if they become withdrawn, it means they are not fully developing into a normal human being. So sometimes depression may even set in because of isolation from other learners, and they end up becoming suicidal as well.
I know, that's a big one.
Can I add what you said?
Sure.
Especially with learning. I think a lot of people who smoke weed, I'll say weed, right? They think it's cool because you feel that bliss, you feel the high, you feel you're relaxed. And unfortunately, what people don't realize is that, especially if you are young and you're studying, is that the THC itself limits your ability to learn new things. That's the first thing. Secondly, it impairs your fine motor function. So if you have to perform fine motor functions, you have to learn things, your memory becomes impaired, and your ability to learn new things gets impaired. And because also we have a huge substance abuse, we as medical professionals struggle as well to find antidotes to those to people who want to leave those drugs as well, because there's options are not as many. If someone says I have withdrawal symptoms, I would like to use, and we struggle to find what is best. But what I've found out is that if someone uses CBD oil, it counters the effects of substance abuse as well. So to those parents that are struggling with their family members on drug addictions, CBD oil is the best option to use as well to counter the effects of substance abuse.
And I'd like to add to that, because I think many people, for the mere fact of the lack of knowledge. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and every morning they come knowing that they're supposed to get about their 3 drops of CBD. They know. So they're already, like Doc said earlier, it's also for preventive measures. You know, with all the foods that we're eating, they're so acidic, they're not good for our body, with all the chemicals that are in them. You want to also make sure that you're keeping your body at optimum performance. So even as a baby, you're able to use that CBD product without worrying about them getting that high of an effect. And that's very important, because, you know, I can't tell you about my little ones being sick. Now, I'm not going to say CBD is the only reason why they're not sick. However, what we do know for a fact, and Doc could confirm this with me, when you're looking at babies, for example, that are breastfeeding for longer versus babies that are off of breast milk much sooner, the reason why they recommend it as doctors is because they're getting CBD through the breast milk. So now when they're off the breast milk, how are they getting the CBD? You see, a lot of times they're saying, okay, there's CBD in this product, there's hemp in this, you see them, but you don't know how they're processed. So you're looking for the purest form of CBD that you're taking under the tongue, 3 to 5 drops, depending on what you're treating, could increase the dosage, that you're knowing is putting them always, each time out the door, at performing at 100%. It's like if you're sending them off to daycare, right? You don't want them going off worrying about if their system is breaking down, because as someone else in school, they sneeze, they start sneezing, they bring it home, you get sick, you can't go to work, right? So it's a domino effect. So the CBD is really important from early, and a great alternative for those who are dealing with struggles like that.
And I just add on the breastfeeding. I think a lot of women currently don't breastfeed their children for medical purpose or for occupational purpose as well, because they have no time. So if you give a child a supplement of a CBD oil, you're actually assisting the child in terms of getting the required growth. Remember, sometimes we get sick not because of design, it's because of lack of a particular substance in our body that should help us counter the effects of any medical condition that we should get. So as you said, that it becomes natural that child gets CBD oil. If it's not from a breast milk, then you have to extra feed the child the product itself, so that it get balance the whole system. Remember, your CBD oil compared to your drugs, it doesn't act on a particular receptor. It balances your system, and for your body to work properly, it has to be in a state of homeostasis, which is a balance. So if we don't have a balance, then we're likely to fall sick again. But and then if you look, I think I'll just take you back a little bit. If you, in the past, people used to feed the animals with cannabis plants, and we would eat those cannabis plants and get the CBD from those cannabis plants. But with the banning of the CBD, what happened is that we now were denied that nutritional supplement that was part of the diet that people used to get in the past. And if you look in history, you'll realize that many of the conditions that started post the banning they were not there before that, or they were not prevalent compared to before. So it's a debate that's out there, unfortunately, that's still going to take a long time.
What we know for certain is weed is bad for kids.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think also I'd like to say, as an organization, we are transforming into a realization that I'm sure my colleagues here will agree with me that most of what is killing the nation is lifestyle more than anything. Therefore, we're not only concentrating or passionate about an individual's emotional wellness, but about an individual's lifestyle wellness as a whole, so that at least we strengthen that arm of prevention as they were saying, more than the reactive aspect when now we are called to go and offer intervention because a child already is using substance abuse. So we are also transforming into that, educating and making awareness in schools to even tell our learners that as much as there might be a turnaround time along the way for those who are already using, it's very important for them to also know that it's not all physical attributes that can be restored back to normal, even if you can go to rehabilitation centers. So it's really important to make sure that you abstain from any addictive drugs instead of wanting to do damage control, because it's not all of your functioning that can be fully restored to how you were in the beginning.
It is important. I mean, it's important for them to know that there are other ways to deal with their social and emotional struggles, right, than to have to experience a high, right? There are other ways. I mean, I've been reaching out to schools with Lifeline for 8 years now, all right? And I haven't been to a single school that do not experience all the negative factors that you can think of, right? The kids, they know where to get drugs. They know where to experience violence. They know what's going on. You cannot hide it from them. You cannot raise them in a bubble. You can't, not in the schools. And the thing is, they have many factors that contributes to them feeling overwhelmed, or like they need to just get a weight off their shoulders, or like they need to do something to experience a high, to escape from whatever struggle they are experiencing. And there are many struggles that our youth experience that their parents do not necessarily know how to guide them with, because the technology that came along, you know, there's a difference between the generations, unfortunately. You know, so the kids might experience some struggle that the parents do not know how to deal with. They don't know necessarily how to guide them on that. And that is when the child actually tries to seek guidance from their parents. Many times they don't. Many times, because they just feel like, oh, my parents are old-fashioned. They don't know what I'm going through. You know, they can't help me. You know, and then their friend will just offer them, hey, have some weed.
Exactly.
You'll feel better.
And also what the doc was saying, the parents do not have time. They do not have time for
That
kids
is true.
anymore.
That is so true throughout the whole continent. That is very true. They have to worry about, they are worrying about other things, making ends meet.
Yes.
You know, it's a serious matter. So what I always do, and one of the main things that I touch on at the school outreaches is, you know what, there are organizations out there that can help you handle your emotional struggles, such as Lifeline. And that is where Lifeline plays a big role. And you don't have to try to work it all out on your own. You don't have to try and carry that on your own. You can speak to someone who knows what they're talking about, and if it's not free, it's a very, very low cost call to make, and someone can guide you through your emotional issues. And then if you want to still use a CBD product because of the medicinal use it the correct way, without the terrible side effects that cannabis has on a growing person. And the youth is classified from around 10 to 12 to all the way up to, I think, I think someone in their 30s.
33.
That is youth, right? So I know that a person stops growing around in their 20s, right? So don't think just because you're out of school that it's all of a sudden safe for you to smoke weed. It isn't. So it's not just for the school kids, okay? It's for the youth.
Yes.
All right? Don't smoke weed. If you want to get the benefits, use the CBD products.
I always say CBD means can't be denied.
So Alton, if someone wants to get their hands on proper CBD products or hemp products, where can they find it?
They could contact me at 071-824-1869. That way we'll be able to direct them through our website. They'll be able to take a look around to be able to have 100% of the information. Just to repeat, 071-824-1869.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And doctor, if someone finds themselves abusing drugs or any substance like that, what should they do?
They should contact their nearest doctor, go to Sanka, go to Lifeline as well. If your doctor can help you, WhatsApp me on 082-385-2406.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, I really think that this can make a difference in people's lives, and I look forward to see the difference that will be made. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.